come up really fast, and as you can see here, can really push water along very, very quickly. And that's why, obviously lightweight items get pushed around very easily, but it, doesn't take a whole lot of water to even move things as heavy as big dumpster bins and cars, especially when you have so much water and the force of all that water pushing things along here. And also look at where the old pier was. Of course, Hurricane Ian took it out. It's been in shambles ever since, but when the waves break up along the pier,
this shit insane,
you see
bro.
quite some impressive waves here as this intense wind gusts up to a confirmed 94 miles per hour with our anemometer that's on top of the Margaritaville Beach Resort. So really quite something. If you'd allow me to step off camera just for a
not
moment,
Margaritaville.
Here over to the left. Again, I wanted to spend the time we have with this now because, it's not a guarantee that power will stay up for Fort Myers Beach during the entire hurricane. And with it being 6:54 and now 6:55, we only have a little bit left before the sun goes down, as sunset again is set for 7:05 here tonight. Looks like the traffic lights there at least are holding along as they bounce along in the breeze, but you can see how the
bro, this is
Gulf
insane.
most certainly overspread Estero Boulevard there. And as we
am I
back
tripping?
over to the left, eventually here, Kelly, you said this is called the Sunset Tier. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, this is the restaurant for right on the beach there. That's the restaurant in the resort. And normally you can sit right there and
What is that?
watch and eat. And it's a wide beach. You mentioned daylight, but if the producer in the booth, and Rob, you can continue talking over the other cameras.
Look at the trees.
To get out to Captiva, show that.
Bro, look at the trees. Yo,
That camera before it gets dark.
that's not okay. That's scary.
Turner Beach out on Captiva. So look at that.
And it's just
Rob,
getting started.
I know you are someone who is fit and likes to exercise, but you recognize that bridge right there? That is the bridge from when you're leaving Sandcap and you're leaving Sanibel Island, and then you're crossing over to the Sanibel, and that's Blind Pass right there.
Oh, I'll be darned. Wow, we couldn't even tell, could you?
No, that's Blind Pass. And then Turner Beach, that's where the camera is sitting. And there's like a parking lot there where you can park if you want to go to the beach, and a bunch of rocks and like a jetty. But on that bridge right there, you usually see fishermen.
Yeah.
And people fishing off it, and it leads into Blind Pass. So that is where I do believe that area right there, it leads from the bay into the Gulf, and it is known for its wicked currents. But right now, because this is one of the few ways that you can get in between, the two islands right here.
Yeah, look at the base of the bridge there and how fast that water is getting funneled underneath the pilings there. That is some very, very fast-moving water. If we could jump out to the chroma wall for a second with the NBC2 Doppler 2 source, I can give you some perspective as to what direction the wind is blowing. As Kelly pointed out, that was the Sandcap area. And right now, the winds are blowing more or less parallel to the western side of Sanibel and offshore for areas like the northern side of Pine Island. Now, the wind direction is really, really important to focus on, of course, when you're dealing with storm surge, because the more onshore the winds happen to be, the more storm surge, inundation, flooding you're going to experience. So at the moment, even though we are seeing a lot of storm surge already happening on the north side of Fort Myers Beach, we don't really have a prime wind for storm surge. At the moment here, it's almost moving to a parallel motion on the south side of Fort Myers Beach. It's when the winds turn onshore completely when the storm surge risk will be at its peak here, and we're still several hours away from that happening. So the storm surge flooding that we can see with our own eyes here live from NBC2's camera at the Margaritaville
probably going to have to
Resort
start the
is
stream
going to
over.
get worse as the winds eventually turn increasingly onshore. We can give a timeline to that effect here by looking forward here in the time, and what I'll do here is I'll note it by marking these timestamps in the upper corner of your screen. So this is a look at the anticipated wind direction by 9:30 tonight. It's just about 7 o'clock here tonight, and by 9:30 tonight, notice how it's the entire south end of Sanibel that will have a strong onshore wind. It is St. James City and the south end of Pine Island. It's the south end of Cape Coral that will have the most intense onshore winds, and then once we get after 11 o'clock and midnight, that's when the winds turn around more so that every part of Fort Myers Beach will have more of a direct perpendicular
I wonder what they're
hitting
doing.
wind, and that will maximize the storm surge potential, at least as it relates to the wind direction. I just wanted to give you you perspective going forward in time here as we move all the way through 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow on Thursday. Even though the winds won't be as strong, we will still have an onshore wind, so it will be difficult for the storm surge that does pile up here over the next few hours to retreat, at least retreat as fast as we would want it to, hopefully. Wow, look at the waves there you can see in the corner of your screen. Could the producer tell me what camera source that happens to be?
Turner Beach again, but the camera's just turned towards the Gulf now, so this is over the beach parking lot and the jetty that I was telling you about.
Gotcha. Was Kelly's mic on? Did everyone hear that?
Did you hear that? This is Turner Beach again on Captiva.
Wow.
Right as you come onto the island.
Man, that is incredible wave action there. For our neighbors in Charlotte County, and this is where storm surge is going to be worst, as you notice at the current time here between 6:30 and 7, we still have more or less a southeast wind. So it's the eastern side of the Cape Hayes Peninsula
what is
right now
going
where
on?
storm surge would be the highest possibility. And then on the north end of the Peace River toward areas like Port Charlotte. But as we move forward here, as the hurricane eventually makes this landfall in Sarasota, notice how the winds increasing their turn more from the west and southwest, and that's what really starts to increase the storm surge risk overnight. In the middle of the night is when areas like Englewood and the western side of the Cape Hayes Peninsula will see their highest risk of additional and potentially very, very deep storm surge. I just wanted to touch base with our neighbors in Collier County, and then I did want to pass things back over to Allison Ray as we're coming up to the top of the hour. We have a brand new advisory for areas of Collier County. Right now, it's only really Marco Island and eastward that has the most direct onshore wind. The onshore winds for the rest of the county don't really pick up until we get after midnight. So the storm surge flooding has basically already started in parts of Marco Island, but it will continue with this risk of storm surge flooding throughout the night tonight as we look forward all the way to 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow.
Bro.
Even though the winds won't be as strong as they are right now, they will still be onshore, and that will keep the risk of additional storm surge in areas like Collier County all.
That's insane, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Let me start this over.